You know, it's going okay. Right now we're getting our butt handed to us by Rise with his Shadow Tyrant. So fair enough. GG's trainer. Say hello to YouTube. True. True, he's gonna be like, Page 1 Gaming with Shadow Tyrant.
That is exactly right. Page 1 leaderboarding with Shadow Tyrant. What's up, guys? This is Rise, and hopefully you took advantage of the Shadow Rocket events. Got some cool new shadows. I was able to acquire a Shadow Tyrant and thought it'd be fun to try out as the Retro Cup, or was it the Remix Cup? The Remix Cup was winding down, and we go on a pretty crazy run here with the man himself, Shadow Tyrunt, and we're just getting straight into the battles. Lapras and Dusclops paired with the Shadow Tyrunt to provide some bulky coverage for this thing that does require shields. This first opponent tries to catch an Ice Beam onto Feraligatr. They're unsuccessful, so we're going to go for the Sparkling Arias here. I don't have an obvious answer. I mean, Tyrunt would be a solid answer here. However, once I hesitated on the swap, you don't want to be down energy as the Tyrunt, or they're definitely going to get to 2 Hydro Cannons. So I actually just commit to staying in, and he gets a huge farm down. At this point, I'm thinking, you know what? Let's just try to take both shields for Tyrunt here. Feraligatr going to throw, and then going to throw once again here. We're totally sacrificing Dusclops, essentially, saving both shields for the Tyrunt. We swap it in. One Dragon Tail gets the Gator. They do have that jump bluff, and I am afraid of like an Energy Ball or an Acrobatics here, so I'm going to shield. Even Acrobatics resisted would do a lot. They do a nice Aerial Ace bait, but now I'm thinking, maybe there's some play here. I'm going to keep over-farming. I need an Ancient Power to knock out the jump bluff. So I'm going to keep on farming until I'm 1 away from double Ancient Power. This should be enough, hopefully, to knock out the Grumpig. It's a little bit harder hitting than the Dragon Claw, and is this going to be enough to knock out the bulky jump bluff? Ancient Power. Feel the power. Bang of Shadow Tyrunt. A sweep to start things out here. And this thing was surprisingly pretty good for me in this run. I mean, I wasn't really expecting to have a lot of success with it, but it ended up being a lot of fun. Here we go. Macargo lead game number 2. Once again, they swap in Golisopod. I don't really have a great counter swap, so that's something I've noticed with team building. Like, if you have a team and oftentimes they swap something you don't really have an answer for it, maybe the team doesn't have the best coverage, but we're going with the flow. We build up a lot, so they respect a potential Skull Bash there with a shield. Now we're going to go for a Sparkling Aria just to get off some chip damage, make this Golisopod more manageable for us. We know that there's a Macargo in the back. I do make a nice catch here onto Dusclops, knowing that he would probably build up as much as possible, and then throw the X-Scissor. Macargo comes back in. We're going to throw after 3 hexes for ideal timing here. Shadow Punch. Dusclops so spammy with that Hex Shadow Punch combination. They're going to throw immediately once they get to a charge attack here. Is it going to be a Rock Tomb? Yep. Rock Tomb. I can safely do 3 and throw, and maybe I even try to bank a Shadow Punch for later. Let's see what I decide to do here. Macargo should be 1 away, so just barely going to get to that move first. That might have even been a charge attack priority. I decide it's not worth it. I'd rather save my shields for Tyrunt. I think they're only 2 off now. Oh god. In comes Shadow Annihilate. This is scary. This is awfully scary. These counters are going to really be chunking away at the health of my Tyrunt. And, you know, even if I had committed to fast attacks, I would have only got 1 more Dragon Tail. I don't know if I could have hexed down here, maybe gone for double punch. But maybe that would have been the only win con here. I'm going to get countered down, it looks like, so I do have to fire a Shadow Punch. And keep in mind, they still have 2 Pokemon with the Golisopod and the Macargo, so I'm going to have to be forced to throw this right away. I saw the typing up there. And unless somehow 1 Hex can knock out the Macargo, that's our only way of winning. But Macargo a little bit too healthy for our liking, and the opponent's going to take game 2. I think I started using that team like mid-set, so and with a 3-2 there, we get a Pancham. Let's see what our Elo is at if I claim this here. 32-72, pretty good. Oh, and that was my last set of the day, apparently. Okay, here we go. Game 3. Now, you'll notice in the upper left corner, I'm watching Axon stream, and this is not me trying to snipe Axon. This is the opposite. Quite the contrary. This is me purposefully queuing when Axon is not queuing, so I don't snipe him. See, he's in a battle right now, so I'm queuing. And don't worry, I think there's only 1 or 2 battles that have the Axon stream in the corner. This is anti-sniping. Trying not to snipe your buddy. And we lead into this Stunfisk here. I know that Lapras, if you have a good one, wins the 0 shield scenario against Stunfisk. You get to that double Sparkling Aria before going down. So that's what I'm going to try and go for here. And we just barely get to it before going down. Lapras looking dapper with the bow tie. Knocks out the Stunfisk. In comes Cargo. They're going to get a little bit of a head start. And I decide to come in with, Dusclops. I guess because they had an energy lead. Maybe my idea is bank energy first. Or take energy first, rather. And then look to come in Tyrunt. Or maybe I just fully stay in here. And save shields for Tyrunt. We're going to take this. Maybe they go for the big overheat. They do. Bang. In comes Pidgeot. This is great. Because either I get a shield or I do some really nice damage here with the Ice Punch. Nice damage. And, dude, we might get the full farm down before they even get to... This is only an air cutter. But because Tyrunt is so glassy, I figured I might as well shield. Yeah, we don't want that air cutter putting us into, like, Incinerate down range. And we have all this energy, so we're going to be able to outpace Macargo here pretty easily. Still just committing to good timing here. Shield, of course, but they're not going to be at 2. So we can safely do 1 Dragon Tail to knock them out. And a pretty comfortable win there for the Tyrunt. And here we go. Game number 3. Or is this 4? I'm losing track already. Not a good lead, honestly. This kind of beats everything if it wants to, but Lapras can hold its own neutrally. Tyrunt can hold its own neutrally. So we're just going to have to stay in here. Sparkling connects. And I was hoping maybe I could get to another Sparkling here, but it looks like this rollout was just barely going to be enough to knock me out. So we don't get there. That's unfortunate. Come in Tyrunt. And I should be able to shield and get the full farm down here, I believe. So maybe they swap to avoid that, and they do. In comes Altaria. When's the last time you saw Altaria? I am going to go for a Dragon Claw here, and I figure, like, Altaria's bulky where it's not an Ice Punch range, so I stay in, I do another Claw, and this will nearly knock out or grab the shield, which will then put it into Ice Punch range. So I thought this was good. Now, since Dusclops is my last healthy Pokemon, I decide to shield to preserve some health here, since Altaria only has hard-hitting attacks. Gonna overfarm as much as possible here. We also want energy for that Dunsparce, because we can't really Hex down the Dunsparce. We're gonna have to fire off an Ice Punch at it, most likely. What's gonna come in here? Oh, Charge-a-Bug. This is pretty good. This is winnable. Charge-a-Bug just not very threatening. They're not gonna be able to take us out in a single discharge. So they're probably gonna have to get to 2 or at least get a lot of fast attacks with the discharge. And then I hard swap, and I think they make a bit of a mistake swapping in Dunsparce. Maybe they thought I had more energy than I did. And then they are going to just simply fall. I think if they had stayed in and just thrown their move at me, maybe they would have had a chance if they somehow, like, got a discharge and then swapped Dunsparce. I don't know. But that farm really helped us there. Shadow Dusknoir. Oh, this person has a Play Pokemon shirt. I didn't see the name, but it must be someone we know. Sparkling Aria grabs the shield. Also a cowboy hat. Very nice. My avatar also has the cowboy hat. We shield Dynamic Punch correctly. Nice. Sparkling Aria gets the knockout. In comes Primeape. Oh, I think this was Lyle, if I remember. Primeape. Gonna throw the Rage Fist here. I'm gonna do 1 and throw. And even the next one shouldn't be quite enough to knock me out. So I don't necessarily need to shield this Rage Fist here. Plus you also want to keep a shield for Tyrunt whenever possible, since it's so glassy. He swaps in Toxapex, and what I do here is I actually throw this first punch, and I could swap, but no, instead I bank a punch and then go Tyrunt, and now we're looking pretty good. I was a little bit afraid he might go for like a Sludge Wave here. Then I figure, no, he probably just goes straight Brine. I feel like Sludge Wave, despite being resisted, might have done enough where he could like farm down eventually. But I shield up, and I'm just going to overfarm as much as I can. So now if he lets this go, I have another one loaded, and I have the Shadow Punch. And if he shields, I just go back to back. So we put ourselves in a really good position. I think he gets denied here with the Primate, but I don't think it would have mattered because I don't think he was one away. And he was also pretty low, so GG to Lyle Jeffs the third. Okay, tough lead here into Grumpig. I think I figured like Furret was pretty common in this meta, so rather than give him a chance to like just counter swap Furret into my Dusclops, I just go straight into a Tyrunt safe swap, which theoretically probably isn't the safest of swaps, but there are no fairies, I guess, in this meta. And this Medi is running Psycho Cut, so not that bad for us. Gonna put up a shield here, respect the Dynamic Punch potential. But the concern here is Grumpig, Medi. You gotta assume whatever's in the back is gonna be good against Dusclops, so I'm not feeling super good about this position we're in. They do let it go, and oh, it's a Primate, yikes. I'm just gonna throw immediately to get this off. I don't know if maybe throwing right away would have been better. I actually go straight Lapras, and I was kind of hoping he would close combat me and then give up Switch, and then I could like farm up with Dusclops, but no, he actually just goes straight Grumpig, which I think was really smart. And then I think I make a mistake here. I go for Ice Beam, like hoping maybe the extra damage would be enough. But if I instead had just gone double Sparkling, I probably could have at least forced the shield or gotten rid of it. I don't know if that changes the outcome though, because let's say I get rid of the Grumpig, then if I get rid of the Grumpig, then he just gets more farm with Ape. So maybe it wouldn't have mattered, and he's already there, so I think we're in a pretty tough spot here. Rage Fist, first one connects. He's going to need at least 2 plus Karate Chops, maybe even 3 Rage Fists, but I know at this point I'm in a tough spot because, yeah, I go for the catch. I might have been off with my counts there. I don't know if there's any way I could have like done 1 and double Shadow Punch there, but yeah, I'd have to rewatch to recount the chops. I'm not sure if my counts were on par there. Maybe we could have won if I didn't do that. I'm not sure. Anyway. But no, wait. They saved energy when I swapped Lapras, so I think they definitely had residual energy, right? Anywho, our opponent lets us CMP them on the second Sparkling Aria, so I actually put up the Protect Shield here against Dragonite to probably force their second Protect Shield. And I'm just going to stay in, try to force them to throw, and they make a nice catch onto a Blastoise. Nicely done. This is a little bit awkward because that Dragonite has a ton of energy banked. That Dragonite basically has 2 Dragon Claws banked. So I'm thinking like, 2 Dragon Claws banked. Maybe I gotta let this go, actually. I could have done 1 more here, theoretically, but I think in my head I was trying to put myself in a range where I could land like 1 Dragon Tail of fast attacks on Dragonite, so I couldn't come in with that. Gonna get off a little bit of chip here against Toxapex, which is pretty nice. Some valuable chip damage. Come in Dusclops, and remember, the Dragonite has 2 moves, or at least close to it. Maybe they're one off. Maybe they're one off double Dragon Claw. So I have to be really careful here, because if I don't keep energy on hand, they might simply just switch and double Dragon Claw me. So I was not really liking this situation, to be honest. They're going to hit me with another Brine. This is going to do way less than a Dragon Claw, so I kind of have to let this go. And I throw immediately. This was actually me anticipating the swap, the combo into Dragonite. So I missed that, but then he lets me double up. He lets me double up, and I could be wrong, but I feel like if the opponent had combo played me, they would have won this game. Maybe I'm wrong, but they let me build up to double. The game probably didn't let them throw their move here, but wouldn't have mattered because I still had a shield to hide behind on the charge attack priority. So GG. Lapras into Jump Bluff. Non-Shadow. Sometimes I get cheeky and just like throw immediately, because some people have started throwing immediately on alignment against me, and that puts you in a weird spot because you like kind of have to shield. They swap in Gator, and once again, don't really have a great answer for this, so gonna have to stay in. I mean, if we can win this matchup and align Dusclops with Jump Bluff, that's fine as well. Since one Sparkling wouldn't have knocked out, we don't throw it immediately. We're going to overfarm a little bit. Hydro Cannon puts us low. We're at the double Sparkling. So if we shield, we should be able to get off another. And he does shield. I should live this. Want to be a little bit careful of the catch potential here. Oh, so because I was scared of the catch on the Sparkling, I actually decided to bank the energy and come in with Tyrunt here. I put up a Protect shield. It's just an Aerial Ice bait. Honestly, don't think he even had the acrobatics. That might have been a really poor shield from me. Might have been a really poor shield. He's going to fire off now the acrobatics. Yikes. That is really bad. Going to go for an Ancient Power. This should knock out. Looks like we've kind of misplayed this situation a little bit. We don't get off the claw, but we do have a good matchup here. We have a really nice matchup here. Just have to be a little bit concerned with the catch. That Shadow Feraligatr is still lurking with very minimal health. Going for a Shadow Punch here. Shadow Punch gonna grab the final Protect shield. I go for another Shadow Punch here. They don't make the catch. Good for me. And then I have to risk this and go for the combo with the Sparkling Aria that I have loaded. Let's go. They don't predict it. This is going to knock out. And then the Gator is very low. It's a Simul KO, but we still have the Dusclops. So that's going to be a win for us. Good game. And, yeah, Lapras into Dragonair now. Shadow Dragonair, cool pick. You don't see it too much anymore. They swap into Furret. I can throw immediately because of the one-turn swap. And we're just going to stay in here, at least for now. Oh, never mind. I get the shield, and then I go Tyrunt. They elect to throw on bad timing here, which is going to be helpful towards me. I shield the Trailblaze because a neutral Trailblaze would do a lot. This is just a Swift, so I know I can take this, but boosted Swift, I mean, still going to chunk against our classy Tyrunt, dude. That did so much. I make a bit of a mistake. I probably should have done one and throw, and then if they shielded, I could have done one and throw again. Instead, I went for the double up, but this allows them to just shield and then farm me down. So a bit of a misplay there by me. I was kind of hoping they wouldn't shield. I'm going to get a nice farm down here, and now the Dragonair really has nowhere to go. Oh, no, but it's a Lantern. Ah, brutal, dude. Brutal. What a weird Pokemon to see, and what a hard response to this Lapras. I thought with that huge energy lead and nowhere to go for the Dragonair, I might still be in a good spot. Also, I go for the Ice Punch here, thinking like my only win con could be if I get a bunch of Shadow Punches off, but as you can see, they were going to get there. So I should have gone for double Shadow Punch instead of one Ice Punch. But even if I go for double Shadow Punch, that saves me like a Hex. So I don't think it would have mattered here. I think we're going to top left at some point. Probably could have won that if I had just done the one and throw against the Furret. Speaking of Furret, here we go against Hschirra, and you saw this little teaser in the intro. By the way, shout out to Hschirra, really fun streamer. I encourage you guys to go check her out. Really good at the game as well, and very fun personality. Furret into our Lapras here, lands the Trailblaze, and I know I'd get here first by a single turn, so I'm just going to try and play the Zero Shield here. As per usual, saving shields with the Tyrunt. In comes a Grumpig. I hard swap into Dusclops, thinking that once Furret's gone, probably won't have a harder answer than that. Pidgeot, not a bad answer, but we do have the super effective Ice Punch, so not that bad for us either. And what I'm thinking here is, okay, either it's a bait or it's a Brave Bird. If it's a Brave Bird, I think I can farm down before they get to another move and just put it all on Tyrunt. And you saw in the intro, on her stream, I watched it back after this game, and she was really funny. She's like, oh, that's a Pokemon. Like, I think I just get fast moved down. I think I'm about to lose to a Shadow Tyrunt. And Heather was right. I think if she shielded the Furret, would have definitely put me in a much trickier position, because I probably would have had to come in with Tyrunt, and then Grumpig gets aligned on Tyrunt, and then Pidgeot versus Dusclops. So, I don't know. I think it would have been a lot closer if the Furret had been shielded, but without the Furret being shielded, ends up being a pretty comfortable win for us. Lapras into a shiny Jumpluff. Shiny. And yeah, here I get cheeky. I just throw instantly. Because they don't... It's like the meta of when you throw has almost shifted, right? especially in higher elo. Like, people don't expect you to throw instantly. People don't expect you to throw instantly anymore. It's such a mind game. They're building up. I go for a catch on Tyrunt. I'm unsuccessful. I doubt they're running Energy Ball and Acrobatics. That'd be kind of crazy. Acrobatics still hurts quite a bit, though. I decide, I think, to just let this... Oh, no. I'm thinking about it. I do shield, and I do correctly shield Acrobatics. That's nice. I throw an alignment here, but Dragon Claw should be enough at this stage. Hoping maybe I could get to another Dragon Claw against whatever comes in. And I do. That's huge. Not only do we have energy banked on Lapras, but we get Chip here, and we can align Dusclops with Grumpig. They do, of course, have access to Shadow Ball, which is not ideal. But Dusclops is a bulky boy. He can tank one. He's a bulky Cyclops. Shadow Ball, ow. Does a lot. In comes Gator. I'm going to throw a Shadow Punch here for some chip damage before swapping in Lapras. And I actually get the shield. And now I'm feeling pretty good. Because not only can I probably take this out with 2 Sparklings, I can overfarm since they don't have that much energy and outpace, most likely, the Grumpig to a Dynamic Punch. So we're going to take this first Hydro. Just make sure we throw before 5. I think I threw pretty early there, but I guess I figured they didn't have much energy on Grumpig, so I didn't really need to overfarm as much. And we're going to get off the Sparkling here. I think it should be just barely enough, perhaps, to knock out Porky Pig. And there we go. Nice win. I think this is the final battle of the video. Lapras into Primeape. Not ideal, but also, like, not the worst. We decided to be bold and call that they're not going to close combat here. It's a Rage Fist. Beautiful. Go for my Sparkling Aria. Primeape almost certainly going to shield this. Psywaves are chunking pretty good for us. Keeping up with the pacing of the Karate Chop damage just about. This is kind of awkward, though. I don't have a comfortable way of getting rid of this Primeape, right? So I actually swap in come in with Dusclops, rather. I'm going to take a double boosted Rage Fist. It's not going to be fun. I throw immediately to not let them get off another. And we're just kind of putting this, once again, on Tyrunt. Up shields. Getting ready to swap immediately. Going for a blind swap. Okay. And it's Jelly. And this is perfect for an oppressive Pokemon like Tyrunt. A Pokemon like Jelly that doesn't have a lot of fast attack pressure. So I go for the Ancient Power immediately. And now I'm going to be able to totally farm down this Jelly before it even reaches 2 attacks. And poor little Pidgeot is going to be not having a fun time against this Rock-type Pokemon. Resisting everything Pidgeot can throw. These Dragon Tails chunking. And they're going to top left before we get off our game-winning attack. And that's it, folks. I think we ended up getting to like 33-71 or something. Maybe as high as number 26 on the Go Battle League leaderboard. With this Shadow Tyrunt, which is pretty crazy. It's always fun when you can have success with a spicy Pokemon like Shadow Tyrunt that you don't see too often. Well, I guess you couldn't even see it at all before it became a Shadow recently. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Shout out to my friend Hschirra for including a clip of her at the start. And if you guys did enjoy this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. If you are new around here, comment down below. All comments are appreciated. And all that said, thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.